Hello, this is Jeff Little, and I'm going to go through a quick overview of a log file tool that I created. And the log file tool was made to actually be accessible via an INI file. So if you look at an INI file that goes along with this tool, you can see that there's different sections, and we'll go through these in a second. But just to give you an overview, it will pick up registry entries, actual log files created from the app deploy toolkit, Intune log files. In the future, if someone wanted SCCM log files again, that could be added in. So anyway, I'm using a couple different exes with this tool. I need the 7z.exe from 7zip. It's a command line tool to actually zip up the log files. So what I do is I copy the log files, event logs, things like that, into a temp directory, and then the very end of this exe, it will actually zip it up with the machine name and the date and time, and then copy it to a server if the user actually chooses yes, that they are connected to the VPN, or no, they aren't. If they say no, they aren't, then it's their job to actually get that zip file to the technician to review it. It could be through a Teams page, through email, etc. So let's go through it. I'm going to also the auto runs. I do have the auto runs exe. I grab all the start items and throw that into a CSV. And it is a Microsoft tool, and I use uninstall, uninstall.ini, have different sections. This one is from an old script. I left it in, but I chose to not use it. You could put yes here, and it would go out and grab the mini dump. Section 2 is MS info, whether it runs or not, and I've got it running as no. You can get a lot of good information from MS info. It takes a little bit longer to actually run the exe and for it to grab the files. Maybe a minute longer. So if that's an issue, leave it as no. We'll try it as yes later. But anyway, copy software logs. That's C Windows software logs, and that would be the app deploy toolkit. So we do want to grab those logs. 4 is event logs. So this will copy or export the application and the system. 5, UPI2 reg export. For Revit, for example, it creates a UPI2 in the registry, and that's valuable information if you're going to try to uninstall different Revit components. So I put that into a CSV format, and then you can actually open it with Excel and look at it. 6, Autodesk uninstall. Same thing as this. I'm just grabbing the uninstall section, but I'm only grabbing anything with Autodesk in the display name or publisher. Auto runs export. I've got a command line that actually uses that tool and exports anything that's in this auto start. That could be services, etc. 8, this is the path that you want to copy the zip file to. There is a default path in the exe, and if you want to override it, you just would type in your path here. This is Intune logs. Just say yes if you want the Intune logs to be copied. For the software logs, if you had a ton of different software being installed, updates, etc., and you don't want to see anything over 100 days old or 30 days, just put 30 here. If you wanted longer, put 300 days. And there's 2 things to look at when the tool runs. It will ask the person running it, are you connected to the network? If not, VPN, for example, then actually say no, and it will not try to copy it to a network location, and it will open up Explorer at the very end and show the zip file. And at that point, the person running this tool can actually copy that file to an email, Teams page, etc. But if you're not connected to the network, they would say no. If they say yes, it will actually copy it to this location here. And so I'm on a VMware system, and this is where it's going to copy it to. So let's run it as if we're connected to the company network. Please connect. And hit yes, because I am basically for this network test I am connected. And you can see there's a progress bar, and it also gives you progress for each section that it goes through. So event logs, Autodesk. It's pretty quick. And so I know where this location is. So let's see. It's 1012. So let me extract this. Okay. Here are the files. This is outside the VM, so it did copy it to the correct directory. And you can see that it did name it my machine name, etc. The date, time. Those are the app logs. Intune logs. That's all the Intune logs they could find. These are the EVTX. So this means you should be able to or just say right click, open. And we have the CSV files. I'll leave these to last. So we have the AutoCAD Reg Uninstall CSV, the Autodesk UPI2. The UPI2, as I mentioned before, would be for the Revit uninstall, for example, that uses the codes listed in this registry area to actually do an uninstall. And at that point, you can grab that data and create your own uninstall. Auto runs log CSV. This is that startup of everything that starts up on the system. And it's a Microsoft tool. I actually use the actual tool. I love that tool. Get logs. Reg uninstall. This is, let's see. It's just going to be the reg entries of all the uninstalls, and the same thing for the 64. Simple text, that's pretty simple. Gives you the computer name, hard drive, what Windows version, and the current user. Let's see if... Okay, so we can see I've got the entries that were on my VM, and now you can read them. And you should be able to do that with the zip file when you run it on a person's system. So let me now show you how to actually open up those CSV files. Okay, I've created it's an actual Excel document with macros in it. And I like to use the macros because getting the CSV files open and into Excel is not always cut and dry. So easier to just use a macro. If you don't have developer, don't worry. That's where you see the macros. But if you don't have that, you hit Alt F8. That opens up the macro. So this is for the auto runs, the top one. This would be for the two other CSV files, the Autodesk related ones, the UPI2 and also the Autodesk uninstall sections of the registry. And with the uninstall sections, I did create those by, again, looking at just the publisher with Autodesk in it, or did the display name have Autodesk in it. So let's do the CSV for auto runs and just click run. Should ask you, hey, where's the file? So let's go find the file. Just save it in the same directory. Here is fine. It should save it as the actual imported auto runs. That's just a log telling you what it did. It creates a table. It imports everything, saves it, creates a table, and then spaces it out for you. So you can do drop downs and sort A to Z if you have a different way you want to look at this. So this is auto runs. Yeah, let me just kind of scroll down. You get all the services here. And you can see it has WinLog on, all kinds of different areas to look at. Active setup, task scheduler, and I may have skipped over it, but in the red, here it is. The current version run. These are good to look at also. And if you see something in here that's missing that should be here, that needs to have something to do with your software needing to start up, then you know you have a problem. So let's run the macros again. This one will run the other two CVS files. So I'll choose the AutoCAD reg. Here we go. And I'll save it as output. You can see it saved it as a table and did all the spacing, imported everything in. And this is saving your basic information. Uninstall string, GUID, publisher, display version, and the display name. So I don't really care about that file since I didn't save it again. So we'll actually override it. And this one I want to do the UPI too. And I'll just save it over. Okay. So the UPI2 will be good to have because you can actually create, with the right PowerShell, you can actually insert these pieces of information in and get a good uninstall for anything that's not MSI related, for example. If that's Greek, then don't worry about it. Don't save. So I did the macros because the actual CSV files were very, very uncomfortable to try to space out and get correct each time manually. It just made it less fun to actually open up a CSV file. So you might want to look at the macro and you can step through it and edit it if you're really curious what I did to actually get these to work. So this is what you would actually copy to a person's desktop. You would copy the exe7z auto runs, that log file. You can rename this to log file extractor, and then uninstall ini. And I made a copy of it in case I destroyed it. But let me do the MS info. And I'll say yes. And we'll run it again, but we'll pretend like we don't have a VPN connection or we're not on a network of a company. So I say no, that I'm not connected to the network. You can see after event logs, it's going to stick a little bit on that MS info. MS info complete. You may tell the person that's running this, if you're running the MS info, it will take a minute or two. And since I clicked on Windows, this wasn't focused. Since you do not have a connection, network connection, local zip file, it's been collected. Click OK to open the folder location. And there we go. There's the zip file. So you could put this into an email if you needed, or copy it to a Teams page, thumb drive, however you want to do this. So hopefully that helps you, and let me know if there's any questions, and I'll be glad to answer them. Thanks.